Girl! Slay the house down boots, mama.
Now that was a bad choice.
Right. No. Don't try to change the subject. Spill the tea.
Okay, but what was she expecting?
Well, that bitch is crazy.
Honestly, Papa,
We should have talked first.
can you blame her?
She should probably drink a little less. Literally.
Well, let's get into it then.
It's time to spill the tea with Damen B.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Spill the Tea with Damen B and Gigi.
Hi.
We're back.
We
We're
are
ready.
We are ready. Do you see my dress?
Ooh, very
It's
Native
like
American.
Yeah, it's my Métis dress.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
today,
I just ordered it off of Amazon. I just like the colors.
here I'm thinking it was hand woven, in a hut.
No. Well, it
No.
might have been, but probably in some South American place by little children.
Bangladesh for 10
May-
cents.
Maybe. Yeah.
No. Anywho,
Anyhow.
maybe their future will change.
Oh,
Which is
yes,
great.
because where are we going with that?
Because we're talking about how our futures can change, or like how our destinies can change with
Hmm.
stuff. So tarot cards, crystals, do we believe in those? What's gonna happen to our future?
Well,
Uh,
that's interesting, and I think we should lump in all these beliefs. You know,
all
if
these
we're going to
mystical
go there,
powers. Yeah.
let's go with how about religion, non-religion, people who believe maybe in witchcraft. What is that called?
Oh,
Wicca
Wiccan. Yeah,
or
Wicca,
Wiccan?
Wiccans. Yeah.
Yeah, or agnostic or just non-believers. Um, so all of that, if you does that, if you believe in something, whether it be your crystals, your tarot
Mhm.
cards, your Wiccan, your God, does that change your destiny? How do you feel about that?
Well, I think so, and I think it has something to do with. This is what I personally believe is it's called the placebo effect. So if you say something like, you know, you kind of will it into existence. I believe
Okay,
if you really think something's going to happen, it's going to happen because you're making those things like around you happen.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
So you
Well,
feel like
for the most part.
if you're calling in, well, for instance, I was watching a show and they had a psychic on,
Hmm.
and she was doing their readings. And she said, somebody asked, "Am I going to get engaged within the next year?" And as I'm watching it on TV, she had one of those needles on a string, and
Oh,
it was
okay.
hanging over the yes or no. And as I'm
Oh.
watching the camera, I'm watching her hands move to yes. But the person on the other side of her was so intent on the card, whether it was going to yes or no,
Yeah.
that she didn't see that. So for her, she hears, yes, you're
Yeah.
going to get engaged. So it's interesting to me is does that then happen? Does she go to her fiance then and literally just hound him until he brings out the ring? Or or does it mean somewhere in the universe he all of a sudden gets the idea that he should get engaged to this girl within the year?
We'll never know.
I
Just
don't I don't know. Like, what do you believe? Do you think I think that she will go home with the
yeah.
thought in her mind that she is going to get engaged, and everything she does from then on with her
Mhm.
um, partner, she will be encouraging and pushing that and within the year type thing. And
Yeah.
if it doesn't happen though, then how does she feel? That's an interesting thing too.
Yeah, well, I've heard a lot of stories of things not working out for people who went to sidekicks and stuff. Now, tarot cards, on the other hand, they tell your past, present, and future. So, my roommate got me into tarot cards, and she did a whole bunch of readings for me. And I was like, this is so fucked. Like, she was blowing my mind. Like, she was telling me
Really?
things, yeah, that I didn't like, that I knew about myself that I have not shared. And I was like, "Oh my god, you're hitting the nail on the head, baby. Keep going." I was like,
Really? See,
yeah,
I've
so
never had that happen where somebody has sat down and
mhm,
so I just don't buy it. So maybe because I don't buy it, I
yeah.
it doesn't happen. Like even that, maybe I'm making that not happen because I'm not really believing it. But if you do, maybe you're hearing what you think you should hear, or what you want to hear, or maybe they're getting it.
Honestly, I think it's a lot of luck guessing and then reading people's facial emotions too. This is what I've learned. And it's a lot of open end messaging. Like, you will be happy in the future. Okay, great. Well, what does that look like? So, like,
Yeah. Yeah, well, I probably will be at some point,
yeah,
right? Like happy.
hopefully.
Yeah.
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 So,
Sometimes I'll be sad, but
yeah.
other times in the future I probably will be happy.
Now, do
Yeah.
I do tarot cards for shits and gigs? Of course I do, because I think it's funny and
Yeah.
it's fun. And I told my aunt who was looking for a house, I'm like, you're gonna buy a house before the end of June. And look at that, she did. And I'm like, "Oh,
There you go.
tell grandma,
And
because
then
grandma's a
and
non-believer."
yeah.
Yeah.
But to me, then does she look harder? Does it make her do
Yep.
something more? You know what I mean? So do we call in our own destiny and again, even with religion, Wicca, um,
Mhm. maybe
maybe casting spells or calling on God to help or do something, are we, then working harder to make that happen so that our belief system can continue on?
So let me just tell you something right now. I tried to cast a love spell, I think in grade nine. Grade nine, yeah. Did not work. Did not work. Took a month, did not work. He was still straight, and I never got that
Yeah,
8-inch pecker.
I don't think
Like,
you can I don't think you can do the gay to straight, straight to gay thing. Can you?
well, I have no clue, but it just said, if you love somebody, do this and they'll love you back. And I thought,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So
Well, I think
the
that's
devil
all young people in love do
yeah.
things like that or think things like that can happen.
Well, the devil has my soul now, so it is
You
a
sold your soul.
yeah.
Well, don't do that.
Well,
Nobody out there sell your soul. It's not a good idea. Although
he
I
wrote
don't
up
know.
a he wrote up a huge contract, and then apparently there's a loophole where straight people can't love gay people, so he got me, gal. And I
Yeah, and you missed that. You missed
I
that
learned my
loophole.
lesson.
Yeah,
Learned my lesson.
yeah. You're on your way to hell now. Darn it.
Okay, just out of the blue, I just have to mention this. I had a dream last night that I was with these three guys who I'm friends with, and I see them in the summer, and we were all like hanging out at the cottage, and they were all like standing around me, and I was like, oh, if only I had more holes, I could take all of you at the same time.
Oh my god.
This has nothing to
Are you
do
gonna
with it.
tell them that? Are they all straight?
Yes,
Oh
yeah,
my.
but I love them, and I think they like me. They have me on Instagram, so
Well,
they like me
they
to
must
some
know.
extent.
Yeah.
Oh, we do jokes like that all the time. They're
Okay.
so
Well, they
funny.
won't
Yeah,
mind
no, no,
then.
no,
Yeah.
they won't mind at all. But anyways, back to the tarot card.
Well, I've never and I've thought about going to a psychic before,
hmm
and I just never have, which is surprising because I kind of I don't know. A part of me that wonders, are they real? But the other part of me thinks exactly what you said, that they can read people pretty well, and especially the
Yeah.
ones that are in business and been doing it for a long time. I'm sure you
Oh
start
yeah.
out like any job and you suck at it. And then as you go on, you get better and better at it. And
Yeah.
like in my generation, what happened was a lot of people got taken by it started with these phone psychics. So you
Oh,
would
really?
call, yeah, this was crazy. So I was really like my mother like gave us, specific instructions because what they would do is you would call and they would kind of hook you in, and then you would constantly be calling, and those calls cost. It was like a sex line type thing,
Oh,
except it
no.
was for psychics, and it cost like people were paying thousands of dollars on their phone bill to these people
I
that
should
were
start that.
really full of shit. I mean, honestly. So I kind of was put off by that when I was young, and maybe that's why I've never ever went, because I was always just told, no, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. And my mother and grandmother, my grandmother was half native, and they really have some issues with um psychics and things like that. They ghosts, that sort
Mm.
of thing. They don't take that very well, and they're really frightened of it. And
Oh.
so, yeah, they really kind of ward that off. So I was raised in a household where that kind of stuff was not tolerated.
Well,
A Ouija
it's
board.
oh, Ouija boards. Well, those are kinda scary. I've
Oh,
never played with those. I'll sell my soul to the devil, but I'm not playing with a Ouija board.
yeah, yeah. Like I was raised like that gives me, when I talk about it, it literally gives me anxiety because it was so like, don't ever touch one of those. What would happen if something came through there and it worked? And I was like, I don't, I
But
don't know.
what if it was a good spirit?
I don't know. I never did it, and I never have done it. Never.
Um, okay, so when for my tarot cards, like we said before, like I did tarot cards and it says I'm gonna be rich and I was gonna get a job and stuff. And I just took that and ran with it. And look at me making money. I love my job now, I make really good money. And yeah, so I find, I just did it, but I was like, I'm taking that a piece of information and going with it.
Well, and I just feel like, again, like our last podcast, this is sort of
Yep.
part two of that, where you make your own destiny and your own fate in a sense. So when you add these beliefs in, whether it be religion, whether it be something else, and you put them into play, I think, like, just for instance, religion, you have the 10 commandments. If you live by those 10 commandments alone, you are going to be a good person, because you're not going to kill anyone, you're not going to sleep with your neighbor's
Mhm.
wife, you're not going to steal, you're not going to, okay? But if you live by that, so if you're
9 out of 10.
religious, yeah, then so that, just being that good person has
Yeah.
to sort of shoot you further ahead through life than
Mm.
someone who is not so morally, you know, with it.
Yeah.
So I just think that then that destiny, then that makes your life better, then that makes you believe more, then it just is a
Yeah.
rolling thing.
It
So like your tarot cards, how you did that and now you're doing what you said you would do or what they
yeah.
said you would do, but you've actually made that happen, not them.
Yeah.
You believe more,
Hair flip.
right? Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
um, yeah, exactly. And so I ended up buying crystals, and I don't know if I'm a believer in crystals. I just wanted like feel good vibes and like energy, and they look so pretty. So I bought like $200 worth of
Oh my
crystals.
god.
Um, I know, but they're all around my house. I absolutely love them, and
Well, you should have brought one to show us.
oh,
Do you
well,
have one close
I have a
by?
Himalayan salt lamp.
Oh, there you go, okay.
Yeah.
And what does that do for you? What's it
That's a
supposed to
great
do?
question, but one one of my aunts got it for me for Christmas, and there's supposed
Okay.
to be a light bulb that goes there, but it burnt
Oh, I
out.
see.
Um, but also I have these smaller crystals that are for protection, and I have one of them on each of my windows, and I have some
Okay.
hanging. Um, but then I put a whole bunch of lucky crystals on a lottery ticket I bought because Lotto Max was 70 million last weekend,
Did
and
you win?
I did not win.
No.
How
I guess I would have heard from you if you or maybe not.
I did get a free play and a and a $2 win, so I well, maybe.
Maybe, maybe not.
Well, all of
Maybe
a
from my
sudden
island in
yeah,
Bahamas.
all of a sudden I have a different background when we do the podcast.
Yeah, you're in a mansion.
Yeah. Oh, I'm at my friend's place.
Yeah. Well, I think if you take maybe your beliefs with a healthy grain of salt,
Yeah,
because I do know that there's people that just get so mired into these things, whether it
yeah,
be anything, but and they get so involved and so wrapped up in it that it becomes like almost, you know, overwhelming. And then I think you lose from that. I think you don't necessarily make a good destiny for yourself.
and you know what's crazy? So I don't know. I'm so hot and cold. So with my beliefs towards our Lord and Savior, it's
Mhm.
like I don't really believe, but I find myself praying if for family members, for like other things
Right.
in my life that I want to make sure people that I love are safe and stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I was reading up, and I may have said it before, but because we're born in North America, Christianity is actually ingrained in
Yeah.
almost into our DNA. Um, and so it's very difficult. Like I can say, oh, I'm not a Christian. But when push comes to shove, that's probably not true. There's a small part of us that no matter how hard we fight it, and I'm sure if you look at like other religions, I'm sure it's the same anywhere, that
Mhm.
you may say I don't believe, I don't believe, I don't believe, but then when something happens, like something's happened to our family this past week, and just to, you know, acknowledge that, um, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, what can I do?
Yeah.
And we go back to sort of our roots and our Christianity. If you lived over in East India or somewhere, you might go to Muslim or Buddha or whatever, and you
Yeah.
go back to your roots. So it's very difficult to shed that. And I don't know that we ever can as a North American society. I don't know that that ever goes absolutely out the window, and I don't know that it needs to either. I don't
I think there's
know
some
that.
great aspects of religion where it's
Absolutely.
like the community it brings together. Is that community toxic? A lot of them, but a lot of them are not.
Mhm.
Like it's a great community when they're with each other. However,
Mhm.
the exclusion like they exclude certain groups
Yeah,
and
and I
people.
think I think that as like we're moving forward
Mhm.
for the most part in a lot of religions, they are moving beyond their beliefs. So, some are sticking behind, but for a lot of them, they're moving forward because they're not getting the people. If they want to
Yeah.
get the people, they have to move with the times,
Yeah.
and so, but I was watching a show, and the man was Christian and the woman was Jewish, and he couldn't get over because Jewish people don't believe that Jesus was born or
Okay.
Jesus existed. And that's the difference between Christians and Jewish people. So this man, and they were doing a dating show or something. I forget what it was on. One of my silly reality shows. But
There's a
anyway,
Jewish
it was,
matchmaking,
yeah.
probably
So
something
this
like
one,
that.
maybe it was, but the man was Christian and she was Jewish, and he couldn't get over that. that was difficult for him. And he's from the United States, and they're a little more religious than we are here. Because I would just be like, oh, who cares? I don't
Yeah.
like really. I don't care. But they have a lot of issues about that. But anyway, the pastor on that show, he said, as long as a person is a good person and is morally a good person and does the right thing all the
Hmm.
time and tries to be nice and everything else. Do you think that we're going to go, if say there is a heaven and God, before whoever is at the pearly gates, and they're going to say, well, no, you can't come in? Well, of course they're not. Of course not. If you're a good person, you're a good person.
Yeah.
You don't have, you can question, you can have different views, you can, because that's what Jesus believed in the first place. So all of this stuff where we can't meld and we can't mix together is ridiculous, but we've gotten well off of our topic once again.
Well, it's just beliefs and what we believe in. So,
Mhm.
crystals and tarot cards, do I have them? Yes. Do I thoroughly believe in them? Not really, but they're fun to play with and fun to look at. So, you know,
But I would put out there too that, don't you think if somebody believes in, say, Wicca, is it Wicca or Wiccan?
I think
Wicca?
it's Wicca and they're called Wiccan. So
Okay.
the people, yeah.
So if they I think, like, what I find in society, or what I see is religious people look at everyone else that doesn't believe, and says, "Well, that's ridiculous. You can't
Hmm.
believe in that." And I think what we should be doing is saying, everybody believe in whatever the hell you want, and your belief, if it's crystals, is just as important as my belief or someone else's belief. Don't you feel that that's fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think
And
everyone has a right to choose what they believe in,
right, as
and
long as it's
it's
not
yeah.
hurting someone else. That's how
Yeah.
I feel. Yeah. So I think your crystals, if if they're keeping, I don't know, are they supposed to keep spirits out, or like, I don't even
Um,
understand the
that's
crystals.
a great question. I feel like it's
You're
just an
not too.
energy.
Oh, okay. So just bad
Like,
energy,
no.
bad
Yeah,
juju.
no, great energy.
No,
They
I mean keeping the bad stuff
Oh, keep
out, like
yeah,
keeping it
I
so
think
you
so.
have them in your window, so that
Yeah.
keeps it away from you.
But do wanna say some people do get a little crazy because 'cause I've known people who thoroughly believe in crystals and have put them in their underwear. If it's, like, protection and they don't wanna get hit by a bus or something, they have put walk around with crystals in their underwear, in their
I wonder if they
vagina.
ever actually get hit by a bus.
Well, not yet, but, I mean, they could.
Hmm.
That's the thing. Just because you didn't get hit by a bus doesn't mean your crystals work. But then if you do get hit by a bus, you know for a fact they don't work. But then you'll say, "Well, I didn't charge them," because here's the other
Yeah,
thing. You're supposed to
yeah.
charge them with the moon. When it's a full moon, you gotta put them in a bowl of water and, like, I don't know if you put
Oh, there's a
salt or
whole
something.
thing.
So then they'll probably, like, "Oh, well, I forgot to charge my crystal last month. No wonder I got hit by that bus."
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, and
See,
see, snowball.
I think I don't believe, because I don't, I'm lazy.
Oh,
I can't be bothered.
okay.
That's so I just look at it and go, if I can't touch it, see it, taste it, don't believe.
Well, you can do all of that with crystals.
No, but all the things you're supposed to
Oh.
do,
Oh.
and keep, I can't see that force field or whatever it is. It's keeping all your negative energy out of your house, and yeah, no.
You can kind of feel the energy if you rub them on your nipples a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, that's just what I've heard. I
That's
haven't
just
done it.
what I've heard. I don't wanna know. No.
Woo! Okay. What
I
other
don't wanna
beliefs?
know what people are doing with their crystals.
They're having some fun times, let
Yeah,
me
I
tell
do see
you.
some that are kind of weirdly shaped,
Dildo shaped,
so
yeah.
yeah.
I do not have that, but yeah, I don't have that. But
Thank God.
anyways, what I was gonna say, what other beliefs? So there's crystals, tarot cards. Um, What other stuff? Okay, like
Psychics.
yeah, psychics, like ghosts
Yeah.
and stuff. Do you believe in ghosts? What's the
No,
belief there?
no,
No?
no. Now,
Yeah.
I will say at one time, like
Mhm.
I'm a real science-based person. So I just find like if I can't touch it, and that's why I have an issue with God and
Yeah.
Santa Claus and things like that because I just now that may be completely wrong. I'm not saying it's right, but that's why my brain doesn't work that way. But I did live in this house in where like way a long time ago and near your great grandpa's house.
Okay.
And people would come there. I moved when I bought it, I just felt the most comforting, like, it was odd. It was really odd when I walked in the door. I just felt like I was wrapped up in a blanket. It was old, 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 stone, like, the stone was 3 feet thick, the walls,
Mhm.
and, I just felt like I was so comfortable, and I moved there with my daughter, and everybody was like, "I can't believe you're even moving there, and it's just crazy, and you're out in the middle of nowhere," but I just felt so good. Like, I never even locked my doors. I just never felt scared there.
Okay, crazy.
People would come there, and they would be so uncomfortable, and so like, they would tell me all the time, "There's something wrong in that house. There's something wrong." And I would go, "What are you talking about? Like, I just feel so good in that house." Like, I almost fell in love with it. It was so weird. So, and I did have a dream about like it was weird. But anyway, and I still dream about that house quite often. And that's the only weird thing that's ever happened to me regarding possible ghosts. And and the one bedroom it smelled like manure. Although it hadn't been a farm there for at least 60 years. The
Oh,
barn was gone, and it smelled like manure, and it was cold. The room was always cold. Like, I put my kids in one bedroom so that they wouldn't have to sleep in that cold bedroom. So that was odd. But I always felt good. I don't
so
know.
that rule didn't apply when you guys lived in the log cabin and I slept in
No,
that attic room?
no.
That was out the window. Okay.
Yeah, there's no
Okay.
ghosts there.
Just squirrels. Squirrels,
Squirrel.
nice.
Yeah, a lot of squirrels. Yeah.
Anywho, so I'm interested in like mediums, like the Long Island medium.
Mhm.
Oh, so I don't know what it is. I watched 2 episodes and I couldn't watch anymore because I started to cry because I just liked how she was bringing um closure to a lot of the families that
Mhm.
like she
Mhm.
did too, and I was just like, ugh. Then it started to make me think about death, and then like when you passed along, and then I
No,
have some great and
when
then I got
I
so
go
excited because I was like, I'm gonna go to her and ask her a bunch of questions.
no, well, then you could use a Ouija board.
Yeah,
Ah,
oh
and we'll
yeah.
chat back and forth, it'll be funny.
I swear, I just need you to say like Austin
Yeah,
Powers or something,
yeah,
or like
yeah.
groovy baby, and
I'm
like it's
done.
over. And I'm spent.
I'm
Like,
spent, yes. I'll say
if
that
you
to
say
you.
something like that, I was like, oh,
Ah,
like I'm a believer.
oh my god. Well,
So
there is the thing like, the reason I don't really believe in them, and I think they might be a little bit dangerous, is there was, a case where there was 3 girls missing had gone missing in a maybe Chicago. I can't remember where it was, but in a suburb of Chicago. And the one mother went on one of those talk shows, Maury Povich
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know Geraldo. I can't remember. And I actually
Oprah.
watched the show. And this woman by the name of they used to have on all the shows, the whole circuit was this woman who was a psychic named Susan Brown, and she would go on and she would tell everyone what their future and whatever. Well, one of the mothers of one of these girls went on that show, and it was obviously set up. She was in the audience and Susan Brown was on the stage. It might have been Oprah. And the mother said, "Am I ever going to see my daughter again?" And she said, "No, you're not. She's dead. You need to let her go. She's gone." Yeah, and the mother had breast cancer at the
Oh
time.
god.
Oh, this is terrible. It is terrible. She had breast cancer at the time, and she decided to stop treatment so she could go be with her daughter. Uh, Fast forward 4 or 5 years, and they find the 3 girls, and her daughter was one of them that was missing, had been held captive in this man's house, and she was alive and well and had a daughter of her own. So that woman had a granddaughter. Well, mom mom was gone. She died. Yeah. So right after that show, that's when I really solidified my thoughts about
Hmm.
psychics and just thought, you know what? That is a really dangerous game. Now, that woman, never heard of her again. And so it ruined her,
She's like, "Gotta go!"
yeah, career completely. But it just floored me that that happened. So be very, like, to me, be extremely careful when
Yeah.
you're, like, really a big grain of salt with anything. And asking those types of questions, I don't think, like, I volunteer with a group, and they often, families of missing people are often asking psychics, and I understand because you're just like,
They
you're
want
at your wit's
answers.
end, and
Yeah.
yeah, nobody's giving you an answer. um but our organization has said we will not work with psychics. Not to say we believe or don't, but if the family wants to, they can. We're just
Mhm.
not going to get into that because it's so scary. Again, what if something happens like that Susan Brown story where they
Yep.
come up with something that is, totally the opposite. So it's a dangerous game, I feel like, and you have
Yep.
to always
Yeah.
always keep your wits about you. Don't fall into.
Well, that's the thing. Usually people like that with missing children, they're so desperate, and it's like,
Right,
for any sign of help or, like, answers or
right,
anything, they'll do
right.
anything that they can, which it's sad when psychics take, advantage of the
And
people who
and
are most
and I
vulnerable.
don't know that this, psychic was being taking advantage, or she felt absolutely that way, that she
Yeah.
was getting these, whatever, that the girl, she told her she was in water, she would never see her again, you know, let go, and fine, she may have been feeling that, but it's so sad what happened. 'Cause that mother just gave up her treatment, gave up, and
Yeah.
said, like, and she was at peace with it, but again, her daughter is still alive today. So
I know. And I also seen a news anchor, um there was a psychic and everyone's complaining that she was giving bad advice or was wrong or something's a sham. So then a news place invited her on, gave her a picture of this girl, and it was actually the newscaster, but she was younger in the picture. And she was like, "This is a missing girl, whatever." And she goes,
mm.
"Oh, she's dead or something." And she's like, "Well, this girl is me." Like,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the thing, like, you can't, I don't know. So, a lot of, like, yeah, maybe a little bit you can use them, or a little bit of what they're saying, but if they knew so much, they'd
Mhm.
be winning their own lottery tickets and, you know,
Well,
to
that's it,
me.
not how it works, Grandma.
Oh, come on. First thing I'd be doing if I was a
First thing.
psychic, winning that 70,000,000.
You know what I would do? I would,
What?
like, stand outside of a bus stop and I'd be like, "Listen, I'm a psychic, and I just wanna tell you, don't get on the next bus because that baby's gonna crash." And then I'd make people wait for another bus, and I'd get on that bus because I just didn't want
Alone.
it full. Yeah, I
Yeah,
just didn't want anyone around me, and I said, "Listen, or I'm gonna take a little trip down to the lake." So I was like, I wouldn't recommend getting on it. Now I'm ready to die, so I'm getting on it.
yeah,
But if
yeah.
you don't want to
Or
die, which is just
airplane. Ooh, and you could get, like, upgraded to first
oh,
class.
oh yeah, wait for
Yes.
first class person to come. I said, listen. This plane's
Yeah.
actually, but that's real sketchy because then people with guns start coming at you in the
Yeah,
casino.
yeah. Never mind. Don't
That's
do
a little
that.
sketchy.
Yeah.
But maybe a submarine? I don't know. Anyways.
Well, I feel like everything has a place, and everything, like,
Yeah.
you can, even with a psychic. I don't think it's a bad thing to go to a psychic, or to believe in God, or to not believe in God. I just think you have to do all of it with a little bit of, well, maybe that works, or maybe this works,
Yeah.
or and believe in yourself. I think is the main thing, the big thing.
Right.
You are
Like,
God. You are you do it.
damn, Grandma.
Oh, see,
That's
I
some
can
that's
get deep.
that's some TED Talk shit right there.
Yeah, yeah. You're the
You
one.
believe in yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about you.
I think that's a great way to end the episode.
I think so too.
Well, I hope all our listeners out there believe in themselves and they have a great day.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Again, I'm your host, Damen B, and I hope you enjoyed spilling the tea with me.